Jesse Jackson's family now gathering around him. In one generation, he has moved from being, as he says, the offspring of a teenage mother born in a slum. Now this prominent American politician. Children who go to private school have a bright, bright future because of what he's been able to do for them. And he shares that as this most eloquent spokesman for the poor people of America. Although I must say that as a political speech, I was a little surprised that there wasn't something new. These are themes that we have heard from Jesse Jackson before, exact phrases. Just this past Saturday night in Atlanta, he gave almost the same speech. And he did appear late. He didn't get started until 1 minute before 11 o'clock. He finished at about midnight. He touched on a lot of themes that the Dukakis people have been eager to avoid here, so whether by design or by accident, we can't say for sure, but he appeared too late for a prime television appearance, John Chancellor.
Some of the Jackson delegates here, I know, are going to be complaining that the Dukakis people pushed the schedule back so he wouldn't appear in prime time. I don't know that his campaign will make that accusation, but some of these delegates will be saying it's like the famous missed telephone call, a little inadvertency. And whether Jackson himself exploits that or not, I rather doubt that he will, Tom.
Ken Bodie down on the floor.
Tom, I'm down here on the floor with Ron Brown, Jesse Jackson's campaign manager. Ron, are you troubled at all by the lateness of the hour?
Not at all, and neither do the people in this Coliseum seem troubled at all. I think they were inspired by an extraordinary speech from an extraordinary man.
Ron, there were many of the old themes and campaign stories that we heard out on the campaign trail. Much of this was not new. Did you think that most of these delegates hadn't heard it before?
Most of them hadn't heard it, and the American people needed to hear. They needed to hear the message of Jesse Jackson, the direction in which he wants to take the party and the country. I think they're obviously inspired for it. It was a unifying message by a mature political leader.
There were a lot of people standing around us who had some eyes that weren't dry, Ron, as this wound up, including your own.
That's correct.
Do you believe, plainly speaking, that many of the Jackson delegates think that if their man, their candidate, were not black, he really would be speaking on Thursday night and accepting the vice presidential nomination instead of on Tuesday night?
Well, I think most of them really like to look ahead to the future and to know the kind of historic progress that's been made this year in American politics. We've changed the landscape of American politics by the candidacy of Jesse Jackson. We're moving forward. In Jesse's words, we're keeping hope alive. I think the delegates here believe it, and I hope the American people believe it.
Ron Brown, thank you very much. And now to Tom Brokaw in the booth.
Thank you very much, Ken Bodie, with Ron Brown, who's really one of the brightest and the best in the Democratic Party when it comes to organizing this convention for Jesse Jackson and negotiating some of the really sensitive cases came before him. This is Tonette Phipps, who is speaking with Reverend Jackson. She's singing with Jesse Jackson and his family on the stage, drinking in the adulation of this crowd.
The heart of the people. Let's stand with him and bring about a change.
Well, it's been a long and exceptional journey for Jesse Jackson, not just from his childhood, but for the past year and a half, as he has grown with every passing month. He's gone from being, frankly, a movement leader to being a prominent leader of the Democratic Party. And as he might put it, all the hues of the rainbow within. There's been some concern in the past week or so that he would go back to being primarily a black leader. The fact of the matter is that Jesse Jackson now has established himself as the spokesman for the disenfranchised in America. Now he's going down into the crowd. Probably not too far, because this is the kind of scene that gives nightmares to security agents. as they like to put it, the left, the right, and the middle of the Democratic Party. Jesse Jackson on the left, Boyd Benson on the right, and Mike Dukakis. That's the hope, will be squarely in the middle. We'll see that scene here on Thursday night. Well, Jackson, even though he didn't get it in his platform, did get to talk tonight about gays and lesbians, about taxes for the rich and powerful, about no first use for nuclear weapons. He also reached out to the AIDS victims, not only in this hall, but in America. Touching the bases of his constituency, which has been so enlarged in the course of this past year. This is Whitley Phipps from Washington, D.C., who was singing America the Beautiful, a special request from the Reverend Jackson.